We're coming to you from the Business Leaders for Michigan CEO Summit at the Weston Book Cadillac in Detroit. This annual event brings together top business, education, and community leaders to talk about growing Michigan's economy. My first guest is here at the summit representing Detroit's tourism industry. I'd like to welcome Larry Alexander, President and CEO of the Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau. Good to see you.
Pleasure to be here with you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a really interesting time for tourism in
Yes, it is.
Detroit. I want to start with a story. In 2008 or 9, I was living in downtown Detroit, and one Sunday morning, I came out of my apartment, and it was a Lions football Sunday, and the Chicago Bears were in town, and a couple from Chicago came up to me on the street and said, "Hey, we're not from here, but we want to go grab a cup of coffee before too long and go to the tailgate." Okay. And I remember standing where I was and spinning around looking. I couldn't come up with anything very close.
And today?
Well, right.
It's entirely different.
I would have a whole list
Yes.
of places they could go. So I mean, that really does speak to the difference and the pace of change that we've had.
No question about it, Stephen. When you look at the development that has taken place, not only in our downtown core, but across the region, with the new restaurants, the new hotels that have opened or are planned to open, new coffee shops, new places for people to go and to really see, feel, and touch this new epicenter that we have for tourism is tremendous.
Yeah. At the same time, we still have some things to work out in terms of tourism, conventions in particular. Give us a snapshot of where we are with the new COBO. See, I just slipped there and said it. The new TCF convention hall, and the hotel issue that we've always had here in Detroit.
Our challenge is that we only have about 6,000 hotel rooms in our downtown core. When you look at our entire region of Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb County, we have over 41,000 hotels. We have a great convention center now. It's the number 17th in the country right now. Been through an enormous renovation that has made it one of the top centers in the world, and also very technologically advanced. We've got a great airport. We've got great amenities for people to go and experience. But the question is, there's just not enough surrounding it, enough places for people to lay their heads. So that's our challenge when we go out to secure big, major conventions. The way we overcome that is we at the Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau provide transportation to big groups that will go from point A to point B, so that we include all of the hotels in the Tri-County region to get them to, whether it be Ford Field or TCF Center, or to a major place where they're going to have a conglomeration of all of their attendees, so that they can still get to their overnight accommodations and get to downtown.
Yeah. Do you feel like we eventually, though, are going to have to confront this idea from the standpoint of building something? Do we need a bigger hotel closer to TCF than we have now?
Absolutely. No question about it.
But where would that go? And that's always a challenge, right?
Yes, it is. But we if I put on my TCF Center hat, we've been looking at development opportunities on what we call the west side of where we could not only increase our parking, but add in an additional what we call general session location, and then maybe a headquarter hotel on top of the center on the Congress Street side. So those are things that we as the Development Authority are really looking at and considering to see what components have to be in place to make that happen. What would the financial obligations be on behalf of the taxpayers of the state of Michigan, and how we could move forward on that. What kind of legislative issues would it encounter as well. But we know that from a customer standpoint, that's something that customers absolutely want to see and want us to have. We just had our customer advisory board in town, and they are very supportive of us adding another hotel attached to the convention center and making these plans move forward, because they all tell us it would mean more groups, more large conventions to come into our marketplace.
Let's talk about reputation and the way in which you're able to attract people to come to Detroit for their conventions. We've had some big wins in the last couple of years, things
we
that
have.
we probably couldn't have imagined before. But when you're out selling the city to groups, what are you hearing? Is it different than what you were hearing 5 or 10 years ago?
No question about it. The attitude has changed. People are now saying, you know, we're interested in coming to see what Detroit has to offer. We're hearing different things about the city. They know that there's more economic growth that has taken place here. The message that my marketing team sends out on a consistent basis talks about the new things that there are to see and do. The publications that have come in to what we call familiarization to us, to experience what we have to offer, and then go out and write great stories, not only domestically, but internationally, has helped to tell people across the globe that this is really a great city. It's a vibrant city. There's many things for you to come in and enjoy. So yes, it is changing. Not to say it's perfect yet. There's still more that needs to be done. But show me a major metropolitan destination that doesn't have challenges or issues that they have to face. And that's okay. But at least in this environment, we are tackling those issues and making changes.
So the name of the convention center here has changed from Cobo to TCF, something that's important for the whole region, but is especially significant to African Americans in this community. Talk about how that's been received now that it's happened.
Extremely well. We know that the Cobo name was a sore subject with an awful lot of people. And when we went through the process of evaluating and determining what companies would be willing to come to the table for the naming rights opportunity, we would be solving two problems at one time. There's no question, remember, this started 10 years ago when the legislature put in our legislative act that we would have the ability to go out for naming rights.
To name the,
That was a major step forward. And so when we knew we had to get our house in order first, no question about it. We wanted to be sure that we had a convention center that technologically and from a service standpoint and a facility standpoint raised up to a higher standard. Once we did that, then it provided the opportunity for us to go out and secure a naming rights sponsor to come to the table. Fortunately, we had a great partner located here in TCF Bank who wanted to put their name on that center because they saw the value of it being called TCF Center. And as a result of that, it meant dollars to the center itself, which helps us achieve that legislative mandate of operating with a balanced budget. But it also solved the issue of taking the old Cobo name off of the building and putting a brand up there that people could recognize and see value in and wanted to be a part of.
At the same time, it's important not to try to wipe away history so much as to make progressive change. So how are we dealing with the fact that this was a building name for a pretty racist and controversial mayor? Are we trying to sort of preserve the history and tell that story?
It's part of our past. It's part of our history. We have a part of our archives and our art collection that looks at how we can preserve this and keep it as part of our history. And when it was Cobo Center, there were some major events that took place in
really
Cobo
important
Center.
things.
Extremely things that took place. And so now as we move forward and we switch from Cobo Center to TCF Center with a reputable brand, the 17th largest convention center paired with the 27th largest bank in the country that's headquartered here in our backyard, we envision and see some major events that will be taking place in TCF Center as a result. And that helps our partner when we go out and promote the brand, because we know that all of those conventions and all of those events that take place, they will go out and communicate the TCF brand.
It was TCF,
to their millions of attendees and visitors that will be coming in as well. So it's a great partnership all the way around, and it's all about not only improving the reputation and the stature of the center, the reputation and stature of TCF Bank, but also the reputation and status of our city and our region. And that's what it's all about. The more people that can come in and bring tourism dollars and spending, it affects jobs, taxes, and it just continues to grow.
I just got to trained myself to say TCF
Yes.
instead of Kobo. I'm working on it.
Every time you say Kobo, it's $5. $5.
That'll do it, right?
Yes.